Okay, so I was asked about Dawn 2.0's flexibility about, of her legs and her thigh bends and things, um, and range of motion. And we will be adjusting this after we get it to testers. If folks think that it's either too much or not enough, we can kind of adjust those limits. So they're not set in stone yet, but as you can see, just as a preliminary, she can bend really, really well. Um, this is no twisting of the hip in this pose. No, obviously we're not, completely done with the weights, but you can see as a start, this is pretty darn good. We will be adding the compression morphs, which will allow us to, give us more believable bends. They'll be like hooked up, or you can either manually turn them on, or we'll talk about hooking them up. But basically, what it'll allow us to do is like things like this: the collision here between this thigh and the shin, the back of the calf. With the compression morphs, it will simulate the flattening out mostly of the calf and a little bit under the thigh, and so we can get a more believable, bend, and you won't see the pass through. So that will be one option. In addition, we're going to have the flexion morphs, which will also allow you in that same leg. You can see the weights allow the muscle movement. So like for the thigh, we'll have, you can see the weights don't go all the way up. It only goes above, just above the knee where the mesh is moving. And this is to prevent unnecessary bulging and rounding. You go too far up and the weights will actually make the mesh bulge out more, which is why we haven't really done that. This gives us exactly what we need. But the flexion morphs will continue the motion and give us a little bit more realistic muscle movement, skin movement over those muscles, things like that. And that'll help give us that believability. In the end, it's going to be, how much we're going to put in versus. The good thing is the flexion morph they'll all be connected to one switch or dial, so that you can turn them all off at once, as I said in the previous post. And that'll make it real easy to turn off any of those morphs when you're making clothes, and that way you can bend it, and then later on you can turn on those morphs and project them in either one of the programs. You can kind of select which ones that you want. We're going to keep the base, as minimal JCMs as possible, and you'll be able to get all the movements, and we're going to make this really the best figure we can. And thanks to a lot of the input and that you guys have been giving us, we can make those adjustments and kind of let you see where we're at, and go from there. We're still in the early stages, of getting this rig complete. So I know there's a lot more to think about, but we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We got to deal with the situations, each step of the way. Right now it's just fleshing out the base rig. We'll go back. I'll end up going back after the feedback round and fine-tuning areas, tweaking them, adjusting limits. We'll do all of that stuff so that, like I said, it's going to be the best figure we can possibly give you. So there's a look at the flexibility of those thighs and shins and feet and everything. Thanks.